the network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.
This is AVWeek, episode 149, recorded Friday, June 20th, 2014. Live from InfoComm 2014, Part 2.
Ready.
AVWeek.
Performing scan.
Week.
Online.
This is AVWeek. AVWeek. This is AVWeek, your weekly wrap-up of audiovisual news and information. My name is Tom Albright. I'm your host. This is part 2 of Live from InfoComm 2014. All of our AVNation podcasts are brought to you by the fine folks at Middle Atlantic. Middle Atlantic products, what great systems are built upon. And speaking of which, how are you, Miss Becky?
I am fantastic.
Becky is from Middle Atlantic. How was your show?
It was crazy busy. Yeah, it was really good though.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
We'll let you you talk some more once we introduce your two cohorts here. First and foremost, Miss Bradford Benn from Harmon. How are you, sir?
Okay, how are you?
How is the AMX system that's being installed in your house as we speak?
The wife just called and says there's no audio working yet. I don't know what to do without.
You build a controls company, but you can't.
Well, actually, the whole reason we purchased AMX, just so you know, yes, I have to forewarn this is a joke, is just because we wanted to get Mrs. Brock McGinnis back into the Harmon family.
Nice.
That's the whole reason we did
Very
it.
well done.
So.
Very good.
Very well done. Brock actually is in the room, and he'll be up in a second. And last but not least, my buddy, my pal, my brother, Michael Drainer, who happens to work for an audio company as well, Sennheiser USA. We're using Sennheiser USA headphones.
Yes,
not AKG.
Headsets.
Yes, I wasn't going to mention that. I was going to be polite.
Just for the record, I bought these, all right?
Didn't I give you a free set of headphones?
Headphones, not thing with microphones.
Did you ask me?
No, I did not ask you, no. I'm sorry.
I'm better than you.
Yes,
I still have a pair of headphones from him, and I still don't have any momentums.
I just gave you HD280s.
You
I
gave
don't want to hear
me
it
something to give away at the AB Tweeps.
Oh,
so.
come on.
All right, so here's the
Kelly loves hers.
here's the thing. We're kicking off this second hour with nothing but exhibitors, right? Which is really kind of cool because last hour we talked with some folks. We talked with Sean Robinson, and actually, I don't even know why I have you here because I already have party. Sorry, Brad.
Who'd you have? You had
I had AMX.
Oh yeah, I forgot. They're part of my.
They're your peeps now.
Yeah. Because
but
I'm your favorite guest. We went through this
yes,
last
that's
podcast.
True. John Ivy from My Tech now because they're putting everything under that one umbrella. So Becky, we're going to start with you. The same question for all three of you, and this is the one for them. They all kind of had the same agreement. This year was busier than last year as far as foot traffic and qualified leads and the actual number of people you were seeing. Is that the way you guys felt?
Absolutely. We in our first day, we almost met our total count from last year.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it was, and I wasn't even here for it, so.
Let's go.
Maybe that says
There's
something.
a correlation there, Becky.
I don't know.
No, she was home on more important business. How old is Christian now?
He turned 1 year old on the Open of InfoComm.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you. But so I missed day one, but day two was pretty busy also. We nearly matched what we did day one, and it's just crazy when you have people coming in and such great conversations with them. It's like no one person that we spoke with, didn't have a product suggestion or just something great to say, or great feedback, or it was just quality. It's probably been said.
Yeah. One thing that Middle Atlantic did, it was celebrating your 35th anniversary.
We did.
Your 35th birthday. So
Yep.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So Bradford, Becky kind of pointed to it. Is this a sign, the fact that we are beating last year's number? Supposedly that's what we're hearing, the rumor mill, that we're going to match and beat last year's InfoComm number. Is this a derivative of the economy, or is it the industry? Are we a bubble that we're industry by in and of ourselves, where we're just kind of having a good time, or what?
I think it's a combination of all of those. I think the quality of the people who are showing up, more qualified, bigger integrators, bigger consultancies, bigger projects, is because this show has gained so much momentum and so much strength. I think a lot of it, as much as this pains me to say, is following the video teleconferencing and the high quality video stuff. And we're a very strong portion of it because I believe, yes, we know how great 4K is. But I know a lot of people are like, well, I just spent all this money to upgrade to HD.
Yeah.
What do I do next? Or I just need to control my entire system because I have brand A, brand B, brand C, brand D, but I want one system. So I think people are getting back to the systems approach, which is why we're seeing a larger traffic, is that there's more cross-pollination of, I'm just looking for a display. I'm just looking for a 3D HD DVD player. I'm just looking, come on, you were supposed to, I mentioned 3D.
I know you did.
You know, I'm just looking for this.
I'm waiting for the OLED joke.
There is no joke. OLED is dead.
Along with 3D.
I do not. 3D is, don't get
3D,
me started.
don't
Don't pull the
We're
string.
gonna get there
Don't
again.
pull the string. Don't
don't.
pull the string. So, but I think a lot of it's, as I said,
OLED 3D's dead.
is a lot of it is that it's going to systems. People are starting to see the fact that when you put in a good quality system, whether it be video, audio, lighting, control, etc., if it's not well designed, if it's not designed to work together as a system, if it's, as I call it, a low usability factor, it's not there. And I see a much better quality of that. I also see, unfortunately, a much higher involvement in mass notification systems and education systems. And that's a little depressing, to be honest.
Because of the reason.
Because of the reason.
Yeah.
I believe mass notifications are good. I wholly, it's part of the reason I'm doing what I'm doing at Harman is supporting some of these large systems. But I've seen a huge uptick in that in all the markets of, it's not just, oh, I need to play a film strip in my schoolroom. Oh, I need this in the airport. It's the, okay, we have to prepare for something bad.
Yeah.
We need a mass notification system. And that, to me, has been, at least for me, that's been my biggest involvement. Is I've seen, last year, no one was talking about it. This year, it was almost all I talked about this show. Other than when I got to spend that time with you.
Yeah.
You know, spending an hour that Matt D. Scott stood us up for.
Exactly, he did.
Yeah, but you saw, we went through all the products.
And you know what he stood us up for?
No.
Neither do I.
I don't think Matt knows what he's
No,
doing.
he didn't.
But I do think it's definitely higher traffic. It's the quality of the traffic definitely went up. I think that's across the board. I see the companies are starting to see the investment in it, but I think it's becoming systems.
Yeah.
We've seen it in a lot of brands. Our competition, obviously, they're putting together mixers, speakers, amplifiers, etc. You know, Sennheiser has powered loudspeakers now. They're really pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's a cool little system. I liked it. FIR filters in it, does all sorts of cool stuff. Obviously, it's a system designed to work together. And that's becoming the key. We're getting away from we're going to give you every piece of Lego, go try to build something cool, to the, look, we built you a battleship and an AT-AT and the Millennium Falcon. I know you youngins weren't around when those first...
I just told you I know what an AT-AT is.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the reason I said AT-AT, just for you, because I didn't want to use any of that stuff, like, you know, talking about the movie with the teddy bears in it. That was just wrong. That wasn't Becky.
Just for the record, he's referring to Return of the Jedi.
Yes.
And those were Ewoks.
Yes, thank you.
What was your big announcement that you were going to break here?
So the big announcement I'm going to break here is the fact that the Bradford and Matt show is coming back before July 4th. We are doing a movies episode where we're going to rant about movies. And yes, it is the Bradford and Matt show.
Very
Did you ever
nice.
air the one
Very
that
nice.
Yellow was on?
No,
Okay.
it was now to be fair to Tim, it was 2 hours long. It was
Yeah.
very good, but it was a little bit too much inside pool.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So it was a lot of inside pool, so I decided I was going to can it because it was too much inside pool,
Okay.
not good for our listeners.
No, I agree.
Now, if you wanted to try again,
Mhm.
to host again with us
I
as
don't
your
think
two
I want to do
guests,
that.
I don't think he can moderate
No.
the two of you.
No one can. That's half the...
That was
Brock was
that
our
was
best
that was 2
moderator
hours of my
ever.
life I will never get back.
Well, I was gonna offer you the guest host position for the movie show.
Really? Oh, okay. We'll
Matt,
talk.
you good with that?
We'll have to talk.
I know you're Canadian, but I still want to know.
All right.
Oh, it's the Bradford and Matt show. Notice I'm first.
Apparently, he has another idea. Mr. Joyner.
Yes, sir.
What was your show like with Sennheiser and integrated systems?
Ditto. I mean, it really fall in line with what Bradford's saying and Becky. You know, it's deceiving because it seemed that things were slow for a while, but it comes in such waves.
Things at the show or the economy?
At the show, and the economy in general. I mean, it just seems that things are so slow. And starting on Wednesday, it was like a real slow start. Then, boy, it just got so busy we couldn't keep up, and then just nobody for a while. But leading to what Becky and Bradford are both saying, the conversations that we're having are with decision makers, people who know what they're going for. They're very qualified candidates, very qualified prospects, and we're not spending a lot of time talking to people who are just fishing. You know, they're really looking for a systems approach to their problems and looking for comprehensive solutions. And I think that's been demonstrated with what a lot of manufacturers are presenting this year at the show, from people like Harman and Sennheiser and AMX and many of the other companies that I've seen, where it's no longer just teleconferencing as usual. Hey, here's our codec. Go use our codec. Go use our central unit. It's now, hey, let's fully embrace this technology and provide an end-to-end solution that we can control the entire ecosystem. And I think that the end users are loving that approach. What I'm finding, though, is that it's a mixed bag with integrators, because the integrators really pride themselves in the fact that they're bringing some other level of skill to the table that the end user didn't have. It's like, well, let us pick your DSP, let us pick your microphone, let us choose your speaker. But now the manufacturers are saying, Harman, hey, here's the DSP, here's the microphone, here's the speaker. We've already done it for you, Mr. Customer, and we verified it from end to end. And by the way, your Middle Atlantic racks, we've already got that integrated with power systems, and it's all done for you. So it's a mixed bag with the integrators. Some see the value, some don't. And I think time's going to tell. But I really feel that the end user is driving that more and more and more today. As we've talked about the convergence of IT, it's not convergence. We are converged. The IT people are the decision makers in today's audiovisual market, and they want the ability to deploy quickly, effectively, and fast, trouble-free systems. And when we control the ecosystem, we're able to deliver that product.
And I do agree that it's one of the challenges that all of us have as manufacturers of, do we give you a complete system or do we give you the Legos?
Right.
And I think it's a fine line that every manufacturer has to walk.
Well, and here's the thing. It depends on the talent of the integrator.
And it sounds funny, and I'm not, this is one of the things I like about where we're going, is we have those systems that are, you can use one of our brand new Eon 610s and a AKG microphone, not trying to be, but boom, you have a system.
Yeah.
Or you can go, I want to do this completely, and I want to spec 12 wireless, and these loudspeakers, I'm going to use Crown amplifiers, but I want to use Renkus boxes or this or that. So it's a fine line all the manufacturers have to walk. And it's one of the things that this industry is probably better at than a lot of the other ones, of the fact that we will collaborate to make a project successful.
Yeah.
Yes, all of us want it all. We're in business.
Yes.
But all of us walk that line of, how do we work together and make this stuff successful for everyone? Because ultimately, the integrator wins, the end user wins, we win. We don't succeed if our customers don't succeed. And I think it's one of those things where I'm seeing more of that going on here as well, of, there's a new amplifier that's powered by another, that the control comes from another DSP company, that they're not related, it's just a strategic partnership.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing that's surprising to me, is I'm sure you guys do the same thing. You can buy a conference room in a box probably that has every piece, or you can buy the auto mixer and pick out your boundary mics. And we have that fine line to walk to make sure the integrator, who does have the skills, who can do the troubleshooting, who is on the fine line, is a key part of that equation. The education of them, supporting them, making sure they understand what IP addresses is, an IP4 versus IP version 6, and all that stuff. I think that's one of those things that I'm seeing more and more of, the integration and a line we have to walk as an industry, both from the manufacturers and from the integrators of, yes, there's a reason for me to be here and be adding value.
And I love the Lego analogy, because it's just like, growing up, I loved the blocks, right? I wanted the blocks so I could build my own thing. But some of the other kids, they wanted the kits, right? And so it really is a pick it the way you want it. It's business your way, not only for the end user, but also for the integrator. And I think the more that we as an industry focus on comprehensive solutions, the more traction we're going to get in general with end users, because it's always been the black magic of AV, but it's not that anymore. It's now, we've already thought it through for you. And I think that says a lot for where we're going.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, thank you so much. I know that you all have booths to tear down. So
Yeah, we want to stay here as long as possible for
well,
that exact reason.
you guys
Exactly
can hang
right.
out as long as you want, but I'm
A
trying
chair.
to be. I'm trying to.
It's like we have a chair.
I'm trying to be respectful for the other folks.
They can join us.
No, come on over.
Michael
no,
Jonathan
I'm not
Sennheiser.
getting up for Kevin.
You are getting up. He's going to sit on you.
Look, am I gonna have to wrestle both of you guys? Because
How can people find out about Sennheiser?
SennheiserUSA.com, and they may reach me on Twitter at Michael Drainer.
He tweets
Twitter.
about once a year.
I do.
So.
I do once or twice, and about 10 times at InfoComm.
All right, Becky Villarehale from Middle Atlantic. Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. My wife made a best friend with Becky, so that makes me happy. So.
It makes me happy too.
How can people find out more about Middle Atlantic?
So we're at middleatlantic.com. On Twitter, we're at Middle Atlantic. Me personally, I'm at Becky Real with an E on the end of it. Just look for the little rubber ducky.
Little rubber ducky. Becky Duck. And Bradford Benn. Thank you, sir.
my
I
pleasure.
appreciate it.
I don't get to do my URLs.
Yes, absolutely. Knock yourself out.
So Harman.com is the corporate one. Harman Pro is the professional one.
Or
Then you have
AMX.com. And
AMX.com, AKG.com, BSSaudio.com. Would you like me to go through them all?
no, please.
You can find me at BradfordBenn.com
Yes.
or at Bradford Benn on Twitter and probably most of the social medias, but I am on social. As someone said, you are the most benevolent misanthrope ever, and that's what I do on my social media.
I'll have to look that up now. That word.
I got Google in my pocket. If you want, I'll help you out.
Okay, thank you. That's where they went, was Google. All right, next up we have, my other brother, Mr. Kevin Iselli. Let's see if I can do this from memory. Director of Curriculum Management. No? What is your official title? Put your headset on. Huh? Oh, you're the sage on the stage. Put your headset on. Brock McGinnis from Westbury National, the biggest integrator in Canada. I'm going to keep saying that till it's true, dude. That's just me. How are you, sir?
I'm just terrific.
Good.
It's good to be here.
Good. And Rick Siegel from Aurora. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. A little
Good.
tired, but still here.
Oh, tired. What have you?
Look at, there's no tired in InfoComm.
Yeah, just my voice. Just my voice.
Let's start with you. Aurora's released a couple of different HD-based tea products this week.
Yep.
How was your
Place.
InfoComm? Was it like a bunch of other presenters and people
Yeah,
that
it was actually
exhibiting?
interesting because coming into this, I was, traveling out with a bunch of customers and asking them, so, hey, am I going to see you in a couple of weeks? And they go, I don't know if I'm coming out. Maybe I'm sending one guy, and I was getting a little worried coming into it. But the first day of the show, doors opened up, and I don't think I was able to look up until around 2:30, 3 o'clock. It was amazing, and it didn't stop there. It was a spectacular show for us. Really spectacular.
Kevin, you're the other exhibitor on this panel currently. For you guys,
Just like you said, it was the first day was one of those flashes. I mean, it was a mob of people. I think the attendance. I don't know what the final attendance was. I don't think they've announced.
they haven't. Have they announced it yet? Anybody?
Do we know?
Anybody know? No.
It just
Okay.
seems like it was more. But even yesterday, it took me almost 5 minutes to get across our booth at one point. I thought I got halfway there. I was going to turn back, and there was no movement.
You needed to drink the water by that time,
absolutely. It was literally crossing the desert.
Yes.
Yeah.
Literally.
On a horse
With no name.
that had a name.
What was his name?
Crowded.
Justin?
No, that's a different horse.
I'll explain that. One of my new best friends from Crestron is Justin Kennington.
Yeah, and he, like we can kill it in the blooper reel.
He is just. You will always be my favorite person at Crestron.
Thank you.
But good Lord, he's making a run. He's making a run at you, dude. Justin heads up your guys' DM line, and not
he's
that
the technology manager.
Yeah, I don't want to take up the time talking about Justin, but his head doesn't need to get any bigger. Great guy though, really great guy.
Absolutely.
Seriously.
I've actually, over the years with me doing the curriculum development for the DM classes, spent a lot of time with Justin.
Yeah, and the little punk won the Young AV.
Yeah, absolutely, right? So, I've spent a lot of time with the guy. My therapist says I'm doing pretty good with
Good,
it. Yeah,
good.
So,
Good.
fantastic, and just a brilliant individual.
Yeah.
He really deserves that award.
Yeah. Brock, how are you? How was your show?
Busy.
Busy.
I was the one in those booths.
You was one of the booths.
I was in those booths.
I've asked a couple, I keep wanting to say integrators. I've asked a couple exhibitors why they spend the money, right? Why do they come to the show? And a lot of the answers are qualified leads, and connecting with their customers and this, that, and the other. You are not alone. I mean, let's be. I know you're somewhat, like me. You just, you don't want to make a big deal about it. But Westbury is a good-sized company.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. We had 11 people here at the show.
So you brought 11 people. Let's do some quick math. If my flight from St. Louis was, not quite $500.
$25,000.
Holy cow! Seriously?
Well, we come from Toronto. That includes food and beverage.
20,000 of it was the
plane, though,
20,000 of it was the beverage.
That was the private plane they hired.
$25,000. Seriously?
Yeah, it's probably somewhere in that range. We had people here for education.
Okay. So some of that cost.
People came in Friday, Saturday, so they're here a full week, and worth absolutely every penny.
That was going to be my question.
And why does an exhibitor spend money to show at InfoComm? It is the most time and cost-effective way to communicate with people like us.
Yeah.
We had people from our engineering group, our programming group, our project management group, sales group, and management, and we divided responsibilities and all went out in search of the latest and greatest, as well as getting educated on new product from existing vendors. Had a fabulous tour of your booth.
Thank you.
The spending an hour in the Crestron booth is almost not enough on a year like this. And the only thing that I would suggest, I also spent an hour at the Cisco booth.
Massage tables.
Yes,
absolutely.
absolutely.
I'm down with it.
I spent an hour at the
Still waiting for the Aurora booth, but we'll get to that.
Somebody else from the company,
Okay,
the engineering
okay,
people.
excellent.
I spent an hour in the Cisco booth, and they equipped us with Listen Technologies headsets. And the person who was giving us the booth tour wore a headset microphone, and it was the only easy group listening and learning experience we had at the show.
Yeah.
And I couldn't suggest more strongly that large booth exhibitors such as yourselves at Crestron, and there were others, that you do the same thing so that everybody can hear and doesn't end up on their, at the back of the crowd.
That's actually a great idea.
On their handhelds.
It is a great idea.
I actually had one customer that came in and brought their own system like
Yes.
this.
Yeah, I know that customer.
Yeah.
They're my client.
That is a great idea. We just find you people steal everything.
No. Here's what you do. All right.
Can we taser you with it?
Where's Drainer? Did he already leave? The company that the client that went to go see Rick was one of my clients called CTI Conference Technologies in St. Louis. They bring they've got a dozen offices around the Midwest, and so they bring 15, 20 people. So they had a Sennheiser, not
tour guide system,
but a Sennheiser tour guide system, and did the exact same thing, right? Their chief of engineering, which should be here any minute now, Eric Snyder, is their ringleader.
Yeah.
And he walks around with a wireless mic and leads the.
So as an industry, we're in the business of helping people see and hear clearly. And that doesn't occur at InfoComm. And my hour at Cisco was spectacular.
Yeah.
And they've got some way cool new products.
They do.
That are so un-Cisco-like.
Such as?
Well,
they're Tamberg-like.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Well, un-Cisco-like. They're MX all-in-one display units that kind of look like big iPads.
They do. They're very reminiscent of the iMacs.
Yeah. But the coolest feature is the ability of their codecs to push whatever is on the screen to an iPad or Android device. They pair with it using ultrasonics. Doesn't go outside the room. You're able to share securely within any given room. And it was jaw-dropping.
Really?
I had seen it before. None of my team had seen it before, and they're just salivating. It's the pools on the floor.
What happens in Vegas?
Yeah, it was a cool thing. So.
Maybe I'm glad you weren't in our booth then at that point, since we have a very white carpet. So that might have been.
Oh, it would have been. It would have been fine.
Yeah. It's rented. It's rented.
You don't get to take it home, do you?
No.
But it was a great show. We learned a ton. We saw some way cool product.
What was? Give me two or three. And
I've talked enough. There's two other people on the panel.
Don't stroke these two guys' egos anymore.
No.
What? One more product.
Crestron's new wireless touch panel. And I'm sorry, I don't know your product at all.
I'll have to talk about it in one second.
You talk about it.
Wall plates and streaming media.
Barco's 1.6 mil LED blew me out of the water. Crestron's new wireless touch panel. Finally, it's not like a 90s video game console. We really like the form factor, and our programmers love the fact that it doesn't have any buttons.
No kidding.
So that the wireless panels can be programmed exactly the same as all the other touch panels in the facilities. Who would have thought of that? That's fantastic.
Actually, his name's Byron.
Except the except the buttons on the back.
Yeah, there's actually buttons on the back.
We were joking
really
that
cool.
that we could do some pop-ups like, ooh, don't squeeze my butt.
Oh,
Yeah.
Nice.
No, it's a great platform. He worked really hard on it.
Yeah. So that was one of our ahas for sure. Found a little recording device from a company called Epiphan.
Yeah.
The Pearl. It's an under $5,000 conference presenter recording device. Little LCD screen in the front. We like that. We saw some tweaky AV things like mounts and
that's fun.
Widgets and whatnot.
Yeah.
But our team was enthused. Really right across the board, we saw a lot of QSC's new amplifier line is for us, and that's a tweaky thing. But the fact that their QSYS platform is built into that amplifier and it saves us on input and output cards and time in setup is a real plus.
Very cool. All right, Rick, what was some of your highlights of the week?
It was basically, three different things from the Aurora booth. There was, addition of the HD-Base-T wall plates, the 3-gang with the display port, and the single gang with the HDMI. And then 2 different product lines within streaming media, an H.264 system, the HPX, and the JPEG 2000 JPX. Which is going to be real good for the company. And we were given some sneak peek at some technology of a 4K streaming media system that we were showing to some consultants that were coming into the booth. That's in development right now. That's coming down pretty soon.
How are you doing the 4K streaming?
You'll have to come into the booth, and I'll have to have Paul explain that one to you. But it's basically over a fiber 10G system.
Wait. You're streaming over fiber.
It'll be fiber. It's converted to fiber at the wall plate, and then it's going over a 10G.
So it's not streaming like a traditional web streaming.
No.
Okay, that's that's
not streaming. No, not like we're doing here.
Okay,
no.
There we go.
No.
You might want to change that to something else then. Because when people think streaming, they think
it's still streaming. It's just not streaming. It's in the lake as opposed to in the ocean.
Yeah.
So a stream is still a stream. It just depends on where it is. And then
you guys are really encamped with HD-Base-T. Is that served you well?
Yeah, real well. Right now we're up to, I think there's 9 different wall plates that we offer with different features. So it's not just one thing serves all, so we have things with different pricing categories, different options and features. And it's really been driving a lot of our business on the video side right now. So
Very
it's
cool.
Really good.
Good.
And the last thing is basically we introduced our new control system, the QX platform based on the quad-core processor and the new touch panel, the QXT700.
Does that mean I have to learn some new stuff?
Actually, it's based on the same, with Aurora. It's all wacky in the background there. So it's got the wacky processing, the wacky event manager in the background. So the programming environment is still similar, but we're just building on the feature set and basically breaking free from traditional displays. So on the regular processor, it has an HDMI and a USB output, so you can use any touch display. Of course, everything has always been IP and web server based since 2003. So, iPads and Android tablets before there ever were one. No apps required in our world.
iPads and never mind. I'm not going to think about that too hard.
What's that?
You said iPad. You had iPads and Androids before there ever was one. And I was
basically, we were
I was
ready
trying
for
to
them on
parse
web
that
server.
out in my brain.
Basically, what I meant by that is we've always been web server based.
There we go.
Basically, we had the technology out there before there was a major need
there we
for
go.
it. Now
Okay.
there's a major need for it. We have a lot of traffic.
I'm
coming
busting
through.
your chops, right?
I know you are. We'll talk about that one.
All right.
And then the other thing on the QX2 with the 1200 by 800 resolution on a 7-inch panel
Very cool.
is really nice, nice. And the way it mates, it's all surface mount on a dual gang. So very, very nice.
All right, very cool. Mr. Iselli, anything new?
Well, from our side, yeah, there was a lot of new stuff. I mean,
You played a very nice video I heard about noon today.
Yeah, hats
Who
off
was
to you
that?
guys. That was fantastic. I mean, the AV selfie, that was a great video. It looked really good in 4K too.
Yes, it did, because it was shot in 4K.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously, yes, 4K is the thing. We have we're showing our new streaming input card as well as our output card for DM. HD-based T, we've kind of heard of this stuff, right? It's something.
Rick's all over it.
In fact, I believe Justin it was the one who invented it. Ask him; he'll tell you.
When he was 10.
Yeah.
When he was.
So
10.
I mean, when you're throwing $1 million of product a day just in HD-based T, it's kind of it's been a great adventure. Going forward, of course, with 4K, we're showing a new certified cable.
Yes.
And we had our test lab, the DM test lab.
Yeah.
Which I was gonna say, I was kind of strapped. I didn't get to see much. The thing that I wanted to see the most was I heard Panasonic was making people fall down because they had like a 3D room.
Oh, yeah. Some
tracking.
Kelly Perkins was talking about it.
They did the roller coaster and people were. I would have paid to see that.
Yeah.
That was fantastic. But no, I was actually strapped to my booth and
literally strapped to the booth. You had the little electrostatic.
Yeah,
strap.
I was strapped to Agilent Technologies O-scope and showing signal input that we're seeing and things that we're using for our certification.
Yeah.
For 4K.
You got to see the pretty HDMI.
Yeah, the HDMI mask, the spec, right?
Yeah.
The watching incursion happen and what that means to your end result. Whether you get sync or not. So, but yeah, it was a great show. Very busy. Like we were saying, Byron's the new 9-inch wireless.
Mm-hmm.
We had the 750, the 2 series, if you will, the TSWs, which are doing voice recognition. We have our new all-in-one 3 series, like DMPS.
Yeah.
The 150.
Thank you, by the way, for putting a 3 series processor into a DMPS.
Well, everyone asked us, why did you do that? I said, well, because we wanted to get you it this year, right? So the original DMPS, we had the 2 series engine. We were still developing the 3 series. So that you're going to see, of course, a whole changeover with that.
So yeah, Brock, watch this. So when is the 300 coming? The DMPS 300 coming out with a 3 series processor?
That's correct.
Jeez. As soon as the 2 series runs out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's it. Here we go.
They bought a boatload.
Says Ray.
Yeah, so we're
still
looking,
some.
of course, fiber deployment for 4K and stuff like that. We'll have pretty coming up pretty quickly.
I have a question, and this actually just popped in my head. I don't know why, and you're going to tell me how many do you want because we're a coin-operated company. Do you have? I'm not aware, and I could be mistaken. None of the DMPSs have fiber outputs, right?
That's correct.
Why?
How many do you want?
I think that's never mind. Yeah,
no, it's not a question.
I'll answer that question as an integrator.
Yeah.
It's a room-based solution. It's an all-in-one presentation switcher.
Okay, no, that's a valid answer.
You only got to send the signal across the room. Okay. So you want something with fiber that you're sending across a campus, that's great. They have another product for that. It's called, what's it called?
HTX. You can do a fiber
DM.
extension.
Yeah, DM.
A DM matrix, yeah.
Well, I just popped on my head and I asked it, which is usually what gets me in trouble. So, all right, guys. Mr. Isele, thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure.
For everything,
Thanks
sir.
for
I
having
appreciate it. Where can people find out more about you or Crestron?
You can find me in the big space, right, out on the floor, or where you got 5 minutes.
You got 5 minutes,
right? Or you can find me.
This is airing 2 weeks from now, so you'll be.
Oh, we'll be gone.
You'll probably be in New Jersey.
Oh, so you won't find me.
No, most likely you'll be in Jersey.
The desert. You can get me on, of course, Twitter, Control Freak.
I don't. You've been on this show for 3 years, and I don't think you've ever said that.
Yeah, no O though. So I say Control Freak, and nobody will find me. They're thinking it's CO, right?
I told Singer last night that he should steal your handle.
Mine.
I know.
Everywhere.
Right.
Of course, you can get me KISELLY at Crestron.com.
And then their
of
website,
course,
Crestron.com.
the restaurant or the website, Crestron.com.
All right, thank you, brother.
Thanks, brother.
Absolutely, Mr. Brock McGinnis, my favorite Canadian integrator.
Thanks for that, Tim.
Yes,
the company's Westbury.com. I am Brock McGinnis on Twitter, and
a very prolific Twitterer.
Every once in a while, I have an opinion. Not everybody in the room agrees with me.
That's okay.
All the time, but I love Twitter, and I love all the people that I've met and exchanged ideas with. I learn a lot, and often it's from another generation.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic for me because I'm going to be, very quickly an old guy in the AV business.
I don't believe that.
And want to be the old guy in the AV business. I still want to be the kid in the AV business because this is a fun business to be in.
Can I tell you? But I need to tell you thank you, like publicly. You have on Twitter and elsewhere. You have given me advice over the years, and I just wanted to thank you, especially for the advice that I've taken and it's worked out. So
I just make suggestions.
You make good suggestions.
I've made a great number of mistakes in my life, and so I like others to benefit.
Yes,
I like others to benefit from the experience. So
awesome. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Rick. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
For coming by. Where can people find out more about you or Aurora?
www.auroramultimedia.com, and you can find me on Twitter at @rsegull.
rsegull.
Yes, and that's
spell that out, please.
That's RSEEGULL.
Very good. All right.
So not like Seagal.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're not related to.
Not related to the chef.
Okay. Very. I was talking about the action hero.
That's what I meant.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm just a cook.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Next up, the producer and host extraordinaire of Control. I almost said Control Concepts. Good Lord, that's the name of your company. From Control Concepts and A State of Control. Steve Greenblatt, how are you, sir?
Good. How about you?
Doing well. You had an event. We'll talk about that in a second. The first edition of Tech Talk with your buddy Mark LaVecchia. So we'll talk about that here in a second.
Absolutely.
From soundreason.org, Josh Schrago, how are you?
Tired. It's been a long week.
Hang on, let me turn up your mic.
Oh, you got a mic for me?
I do.
There it is.
There it is.
You do that to the audio guy. That's always the thing.
Well, yeah.
Just turn his mic off.
Schrago. And last but not least, Vice President of Engineering and all-around ringleader for Conference Technologies the week of InfoComm, Eric Snyder. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fine.
Good. What color is that shirt?
This is our bright neon green shirt. That way I can keep track of my little engineers running around.
I can see that. Good Lord. The one thing we actually talked about you guys a minute ago with Brock and Kevin and Rick Siegel from Aurora about Brock was suggesting to Kevin actually to Crestron that they should provide Listen Technologies touring systems, and we were talking about the fact that CTI, Conference Technologies, is a fairly good-sized company in the Midwest, integrator in the Midwest. One of my biggest clients when I'm in the world of Innovad, which that's what I do on a full-time basis. This year, you guys used Sennheiser touring systems with headsets to keep everybody together on the same page, and then you were 9 times out of 10 you weren't the ringleader all the time because obviously you would hand it off to whatever manufacturer's rep was talking at that time, right? When did you start doing that, and why?
Yeah, it's actually an interesting story. We were out at InfoComm, I believe, 2 years. It was the last time we were in Vegas, and what ended up happening was we'd stop by the Listen booth. And he goes, hey, you want to try one of these out? And then we went, sure. And we put them on for the Listen booth. And I go, hey, can we keep these for the rest of the day? We got a large group. And then it was one of those duh moments, It's like, what do we do for a living? It's kind of funny that, and when I try to really preach that in our organization as well, is that we have to use the technology that we are providing to our end clients, And what a more perfect case than to do the tour guide sets out there on the show floor. We bring clients with us. I just get compliments. We're able to do a little bit of pre-info before they go into the booth with it. It was just a brilliant idea that came from a very nice, generous offer from Listen to allow us to use their headsets that first year. And then we bought our own set, and then now the manufacturers are going, hey, why don't you try these? And we're like, okay, we'll go ahead and do it. Just to go ahead and give your product a shot just to see the differences between them.
Does it help?
Oh, absolutely.
And how? I guess I shouldn't.
No, go ahead.
What's the pain point? Is it 5 people around you? Is it you guys have more than that? But do you think that for a company size like Brock McGinnis with Westbury National, that 12, right? So where do you think the pain point is there for somebody that needs to start doing that?
Sure, and here's where it really comes into play, right? So, of course, people know us. We have a large amount of people that tend to like to hang with us at the show. So,
Sometimes our booth tours can be up to 30 people or 40 people, right? So of course you need it for that, right? What we found is that, and we have multiple channels on it, so that's where it gets to be incredibly efficient, right? So down to even groups of 5, and then that way, the mixed company in that booth can be, in that booth tour at one time for a manufacturer can be broken down to technical, sales, maybe a 30,000 point view, and on that third channel, it could be for clients who are with you. So that way, if the sales guys wanted to start talking costs and all that, they're not really on the same headset,
Mm-hmm.
But you get a culture from being at InfoComm together like that, and conversations in the back as that presentation's going on, going, hey, you know what? That'd be a really good thing for this and this, and that way you're not interrupting the presentation.
Yeah, absolutely. This is kind of neat because all three, none of you are exhibitors. So this is, we're going to get this view here. Josh was an instructor for. Remind me of what your class was again.
Audio DSP Fundamentals.
I think I need to take that actually. I'll just start calling you. Steve is again the chief muckety-muck for Control Concepts, a fabulous independent programming house out of New Jersey.
And now a brethren.
And now a brethren.
Hey, do you have a card?
Just stop that! Don't listen. Don't give him one. Jeez. That's all right. I gave. Where's Victoria? I gave Victoria a card today because she's anyhow. They're an integrator out of Texas, and her husband works for another integrator who just lost their AMX programmer. So if you'd like to do one for Texas, I'll let you have that one. Otherwise, I'm going to go to Texas and get the barbecue.
Go for it.
All right. So, Steve, what was maybe one or two or three things that you're taking away from InfoComm? Like, holy cow, what was that? Or, good Lord, you spent money and showing me this.
One thing that hearing a lot more of now, of course, the AVIT thing is now IP control.
Mm-hmm.
A lot more emphasis on that. So I think there's a lot less proprietary control ports, putting devices on the network that are talking to each other. So that's a big one. And a lot of the manufacturers actually need somebody to be able to do some of the complex programming, module development, so forth. That's a lot of what we're out there discussing. User experience has come up a lot, and that's something that we enjoy discussing, and I'm glad that that's coming to the forefront. And I think focus more on functionality and deciding how to define the system by, as we discussed in a prior article, define the system by the user's needs and the functionality, and let that spell out how the equipment should be selected and the system designed.
Yeah. Mr. Shrago, or Shrago, like people are calling you all week. Shrago, yeah, that thing.
Yeah, without Scott, how would I have known?
I don't know. What are one or two things that you're going to take away from this InfoComm?
Coming from my perspective, it was a little bit more interesting because I actually saw maybe a grand total of 90 minutes of the show.
Why?
I was volunteering with the InfoComm Standards Committee, teaching a class, hosting the net neutrality panel.
Which, by the way, was fabulous.
Thank you.
Explain to people real quickly, if they haven't watched it, which you should, what this was about.
If you haven't watched the net neutrality panel, I've been harping on this since February on InfoComm All Voices and on soundreason.org about the fact that the AV industry needs to start paying attention to net neutrality and the impact it's going to have on AV, and trying to get more people to get active and get involved, especially now that the FCC has proposed rules specifically regarding the fast lane and how internet traffic is going to be handled by the ISPs. And then I was lucky enough to get Rob Woods from Blue Jeans, Simon Dudley from Life Size, and Bob Romano from Avaya to sit down with me for an hour and discuss Section 706 versus Title II and how the internet traffic is handled differently, and whether or not, and how this is just going to impact AV transmission. Even asking the question, I mean, as we were just discussing, the AVIT convergence, how is net neutrality going to impact that, and whether or not it's going to have an impact as to whether or not we move more towards analog signals or keep the progression going towards IP signals. So that was a great panel, and I was really excited to be able to host it and be a part of it. So that was very exciting. But the takeaways that I get mostly from the perspective of having participated with the standards group was there's an age gap we have in this industry that needs to be addressed fast. I sat down at the plenary, the InfoComm plenary, where they introduced what's going on in the standards groups and what's going on in industry innovations on Monday. And I was sitting at a table with audio legends, the Bronze, Ray Rayburn, and other guys that I have read papers since I started in this industry. And I looked around the room, and I'm 25, 30 years younger than everyone there. And it's like, okay, well, if these are the guys writing the standards, what happens when they retire? Because they have the right to retire.
No, they don't.
Who's picking up the reins to write these standards and help keep moving the industry forward as we evolve? Because the industry is changing, how we use technology is changing, and we have to establish standards for that. So finding more people to get involved in that was one of the big things. The other really big takeaway I have from the show, as I ran from room to room to room to room to room to booth to room over the course of 3 days, was the sheer number of green badges, meaning technology managers.
Yes.
So you get the red badge. I mean, Friday, as I learned as a manufacturer, is Red Badge Day. It's when everybody goes to spy on each other because the manufacturers are all the red badges. You have the blue badges for speakers and press and just general attendees, and then the green badges are all the technology managers and the university guys, and they were in sheer force this year, and that was really interesting to me because, to a certain respect, I kind of take that as a shift in buying power as to who the decision making is going away from integrators and consultants, and people are starting to take more responsibility for larger facilities and bring it into themselves, as you well know from previous experiences.
Hey, Scott, can I ask you one question? So do you...
Josh.
Oh, Josh. Sorry, Josh. Josh, would you... so I would say that a manufacturer deciding to pull out of the show with that many green badges on the show floor probably wouldn't be such the greatest idea, would it?
No, in fact, those that were absent at this show and unable to attend for whatever reasons they saw fit probably would be drastically hurt by not being able to share their new product.
Of
course, it would also make it beneficial if their product worked the way that we felt it should work, as opposed to the way they felt.
All right,
it
I'm not going to go there.
No, that goes into a series of emails that Tim and I were exchanging.
Oh my! And I wasn't going to. What? Yeah, send your email to jschrago
at.
I don't know what. I don't know off the top of my head. Okay, so that good point. Let's just bring it out here with all three of us here, right? Because we're all. Steve's looking at doing the independent programming for Extron. Let's just say the word before we get over it. And you two gentlemen are integrators, and I'm a design consultant. Are they being hurt? Is Extron being hurt by not being here? I mean, here's the thing. Last year was the largest saturation of tech managers, right? I think it was like 40%, if I remember somewhere. It was somewhere in there. 40% of the attendees were tech managers, decision makers.
Yeah.
These are the folks who are speccing the product. These are the folks who are putting it in, by and large, because budgets are being cut and this and the other. So are they being hurt? Steve, are they being hurt by not coming to this show because nobody goes, quote unquote, nobody goes to trade shows anymore?
I mean, you have to. I think that's an obvious answer. Actually, to be honest with you, I saw two people that I know from Extron that were here walking the floor. So I guess maybe
you just fired their butts.
So
was one Andrew, and the other one was Tim Schnabel.
No. But
God help me if it was Tim Schnabel and he gets fired for this, I'll feel bad.
You have to go with the out of sight, out of mind concept. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. And I mean, have you guys seen them be as aggressive in contacting you individually as they said that they were going to be?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Every time a project comes into the integration firm that I work for out in San Jose, I get a phone call when it's large enough of, oh hey, can we put our product in? We mind if we put our product in? And sure, here you go. Here's the specs. Take a crack at it if you want. We don't guarantee we're going to use it, but we're happy to let you look at it. Simultaneously, though, I was also down there for their 2-day technology training, just going over all of their product, and I also sat down with them, called them all out, and said, oh, you'll be back. There's no way you don't come back. You can't not.
I don't think they will. No, not until Not until ownership changes, but that's just me.
I honestly believe they're going to finish building all of their technology facilities across the country, because that's what they said they wanted to do, is invest the money in that. And once they do that, then the money frees back up, and they have no reason not to show up, and they're losing an opportunity.
Pride. This is my own opinion.
Oh, sure.
Obviously, it's my show. There's something more than just people don't go to trade shows anymore, because the last 2 years of InfoComm has proved that incorrect.
Microsoft came for no reason.
I was going to say
they pull out a CES and come here for no reason.
No, they came to give us very comfortable couches and places to charge our phones.
Oh, and watch the soccer game.
And watch the soccer game. There was a better place for that. That was the Christie booth.
Oh yeah, true. That was a good point too.
Eric, does Extron get hurt by not showing up at this show?
You know, here's kind of my open letter advice to him, right? You know, I totally understand, right? As an integrator, you know, you don't have to throw the biggest party for me and spend all the money on the biggest party.
Mm-mm.
Really, all I want you to do, and you don't have to bring every product that you make. I would just like I have clients with us. You know, we have technology managers here who come and find us. We've had great leads from the show, probably the most we've ever had. It works really well to show that the integrator and manufacturer working hand in hand. When we can walk in that booth together, discuss technology, discuss reasons why we should be using your product, this is better, and then start asking. There's a new trend in design. I hate the arrogant consultant model that had been out there, and no offense to you at all. You know, I love consultants, right?
I'm not an arrogant consultant.
Okay, great. I think
mate.
We're in a collaborative scenario with our clients now, right? If you got to become their problem solver, and understand it's not about the widget. And I think our keynote that opened up this year was probably one of the best keynotes I ever saw. It's like really our job in the AV industry with this IT-AV convergence is we control the user experience. And you're going to get hired or fired on the user experience.
Yeah.
And when you can take them into the booth and show them the great cable extractor that they had there, right? No one else had that out there. We sold $100,000 worth of metal. I never thought we would. But that user experience was more important than any other piece of technology that went in that room. You know, or those rooms.
Yeah.
That's what they're missing out on.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, guys. Josh Srago from soundreason.org. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Tim.
Where can people find out more about you or even your company?
You can check out @JSrago on the tweets. You can find me on LinkedIn, Josh Srago, CTS, which reminds me I need to renew that. And then we have my Google Plus as well as soundreason.org. You can find me on the Red Band bloggers group. You can find me at InfoComm All Voices. And occasionally you will find me on AVWeek.
Yes. Very cool. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
What's up, buddy? Steve Greenblatt from Control Concepts and also from our State of Control show. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. This was great. Another great year.
Yeah. Real quickly, I neglected to do this. Tell people real quick how the Tech Talk went and what that's about.
Sure. So Tech Talk is a community for technology managers. So as we said, there's a lot more of them coming to the show. They want to learn more. They want knowledge. They want to be more involved. And I think that they're also doing a lot more on their own. So what we did is we tried to bring them together into an event that we started by giving them some learning content that we found to be the common mistakes that we're seeing in the industry, and built on that, talked about scope of work, talked about building a standard system, best practices, and troubleshooting. And it was a great, we wanted it to be about an hour and a half, 2 hours. We couldn't get them out after 3. So we want to continue the conversation online. We finally put up a website called techtalkav.com, and we're trying to get more and more people involved and see where it takes us. And we'll do some online learning and hopefully also an event at the InfoComm event show in Philadelphia in October. So
very cool. Well, thank you so much. Very happy for you. I'm very excited about it.
Thanks. And
as a former tech manager, I'm really excited about it. So
and compliments to AVNation. I mean, look what happened in a year. It's just a big change.
Yeah, a big change.
A lot of good stuff going on here.
So how can people find out more about you or Control Concepts?
We're at controlconcepts.net, and I'm at Steve Greenblatt on Twitter and LinkedIn and so forth, and love to talk to people. And we're getting ready for the next State of Control. So.
Yeah. What are we doing, by the way?
So we're independent programmers. We were choosing between an independent programmer show.
Yeah.
And also alternative control systems.
That's what it was. Yeah. That one I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
I kind of, because we, nothing against either company, but we give AMX and Crestron like an hour-long commercial every month.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some other ones.
Sure, I actually made a good contact for it today.
Good,
too,
very good. All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And Mr. Eric Snyder, thank you, sir. Where can people find out more about you or Conference Technologies?
I got a whole team of people that support me. I got wonderful people that support me, and you can find out more about them at conferencetech.com.
Okay.
We got some blog posts, and if anyone would like to contact me or just talk with me or chat with me, I got a LinkedIn profile. I'm more than happy to connect with you if you want to connect with me.
He's got like 10,000 connections. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
I like talking to people.
You do. So thank you very much, sir.
No worries.
I appreciate it. All right, so we're going to wrap this thing up. First and foremost, I'm going to do a commercial here while my team gathers around. Becky, come over here for a second, ma'am. Yes, you. We have, a couple months ago, we started a conversation about advertising on AVWeek. And it's something that we as a team have talked about. Not for nothing. I mean, AVNation is an LLC and it under me, and I own it and all that jazz. But it's still a team effort, right? And I'm going to get my team up here in a second. But we decided to take on advertising and one at a time and this, that, and the other, simply to continue. Thank you. Simply to continue to provide good content, quality content, made for AV professionals by AV professionals, but things cost money. We were nice enough to get blessed enough to get a booth at at InfoComm this year, but it was expensive. I got a bill for $800 for delivering all my stuff to my booth, which I know is not nearly as what Becky got for Middle Atlantic, but it still was a sticker shock when I got it. So and advertising is what helps pay for that and things of that nature. So thank you very much. First of all, Middle Atlantic is our first official sponsor.
Well, thank you. You're very welcome, but I feel like I should be thanking you. I mean, obviously, you guys are doing a really great job here. We've talked about this. It's just nice that you have so many different voices.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the integrator point of view. You've got the manufacturers. You've got the consultant point. I mean, you guys really take the time to make sure that you're covering everybody's perspective, and the medium is fantastic, and we really like what you guys are doing. So thank you.
Absolutely. So a couple things that I was excited about. The very first product that we talked about was the TechPed.
Mm-hmm.
And Becky sent me an email and said, I'm sorry that you had to talk about that for so long. I was excited to see it at InfoComm. I really was, because it really does fit a niche, right? It really does solve a problem. So that is something new that we got to see this week. We got to see the display mounts, the different types of display mounts. The one that has the you can move this sucker up and down, the display up and down. So that's really cool.
Yeah, flex view. Thank you.
Yes, and the one on the wheels and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's one that's a VCC one that has the space. It doesn't have one, but it has space for a power supply. It doesn't have a power supply in there.
It doesn't come with it.
Yeah, but it has space for one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So and then the power strip that the modular power strip that we saw. So
yeah, our series surge protection module for our modular power raceway. It's really exciting. It's fun when you can come to a show and show so many different options and different product categories, and we obviously have a wide range, but we really appreciate your enthusiasm for our stuff and thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right. MiddleAtlantic.com. What great systems are built on Middle Atlantic. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right. I want my board up here, if you guys would please. I knew Michael Drainer is already gone. Final show numbers was 37,048. Very cool. We broke records. Yay us. 37,000. Wow, by 2,000. Holy cow. We broke a record by 2,000 from last year. Very cool. First and foremost, where's Matt Scott going? Okay. You don't have to talk if you don't want to. We've got like 10 minutes left. And you can probably talk for the full 10 minutes, just in general. AVNation is a consortium, right? Why are you looking at me like that?
I'm just listening.
Okay. So I want to say thank you to all of you. This was not done by one man or by one crazy person. This was done by all of you, and I wanted to say thank you very much. From Matt Scott and Don Mead and George Tucker, and yes, Michael Drainer for the small amount of meetings he actually made. He'll never listen to this, so he won't know.
I make more meetings upside down looking at her laptop.
That's Harry Mead, the unofficial board member. The unofficial board member. My buddy Josh Pippins, who filmed all week and made the AV selfie video and helped produce it. So very cool. Thank you. Chris Netto, who's I think is calmed down now. So thank you. He's tweeting still. So thank you. My buddy from Alton, Mr. Brian McKinney, I have forced him to be a producer this week. Yay. So, and then of course my lovely bride, who had been with me all week, and her sister-in-law. They were our booth babes.
I gave your wife the advisory committee ribbon.
Very nice, very nice. Is that what Harry has?
No.
No,
Oh.
I have the member at large, which I was assured was not a fat joke.
It is.
They assured me it wasn't.
It is. And they took your swing line stapler.
Lies.
They lied to me. Mr. Greenblatt
That's it.
also, and Jer helped out. His lovely better half helped out as well. And a lot of the Red Band guys, Bill and Josh, obviously. A lot of you guys, Shago. They taped and they interviewed and they went to booth tours, and when I missed a booth tour, they covered for me, and so yeah, it was very cool. This week and next week and this and the other, we'll see a lot more. Chris and Bill did the cable challenge, which ended up interestingly.
Interesting is a word.
Interesting is it's a word. It is a word.
It is in the dictionary.
It is in the dictionary. Somewhere, I think under I. So good night. But no, seriously, thank you guys very much. This would not be possible without any of you. So thank you.
And on behalf of all of us, thank you for asking us to be part of your wild and crazy dream a couple years ago, because it's been a blast, and hopefully it'll continue to be so.
Hopefully. Yeah. Or one day we'll all wake up. So any final thoughts? Any final things? Hey, get me off this crazy thing?
Thankfully, it's only 3 days.
Don't listen to Dawn. She wants to make it 4.
No, but I think that we could use
more swag is what you're looking for.
We could use 4 days to get to all the booths, because I admit I skipped a couple pavilions worth of booths. But at the same time, we've been here since Friday taking classes, and I'm ready to go home and see my dog.
I'm tired of Vegas.
You realize I'm recording this, right?
Oh, he's always tired of Vegas.
Oh,
Don't
okay.
listen to him.
All right.
I'm not quite
It was
tired.
okay for a little while.
Yeah, like when you got off the plane and then when you suitcase. Now it's done.
Now it's done. This is
Get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn. These are my two things for my two takeaways, since I've asked everybody else's theirs. IEG, as much as I'm giving Matt Scott crap for totally blowing off that interview.
I totally told you had to go.
I know, and there's a good reason
why
for
I
it.
did it.
Holy cow.
Yep.
It is a network device that gives you a secured backdoor into your client's network.
You're welcome.
Think about that for a second, kids. A secured backdoor into your client's network. It looks like a wall wart with an RJ45 jack that you plug straight into the switch. And so for those of you who like doing remote monitoring or remote services, our buddy Rich Fregosa swears by them, right? I mean, that's like 50% of his revenue comes from services. This gives you a secure line into your client's infrastructure, which is huge. And the second one is the SVSI one. I didn't know a thing about them before a week ago, and started getting emails asking to come see them, and I looked them up, and this, that, and the other. They're doing some interesting things with video over IP. By interesting, I mean there's some folks that are doing twisted pair stuff based on HD-based that may want to take a trip down to Huntsville, Alabama.
They're going to kick everybody's butt.
I think they have the potential.
Give it time.
I think they have the potential.
It.
Yeah, I think they have the potential to do it. If somebody else doesn't come along and say, hey, why don't you join us, type thing. Somebody doesn't buy them up.
Which is what will happen.
Yeah, which is possibly what will happen.
I don't know. They've been out there for a couple of years now. We have a very determined rep in our region, and one of the companies that she reps is
SVSI.
SVSI. And so I've been aware of them for a while, and I've been looking for some projects to work on them, and our engineers are looking to work with them. So they haven't bought them yet. And they've been making the cool stuff for a little bit now. So maybe now that they're starting to get on more people's radar, they'll have that possibility.
Maybe that's my new prediction. Cisco's not going to buy anybody. Crestron's going to buy SVSI. There we go. Let's start that rumor.
Oh, gosh, you're great.
Georgie?
I said 3 days. I'm happy.
All right. Harry?
What was the question again?
All right. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys. Seriously, this has been fun. And we have about 6 months to rest because we're going to start planning a little earlier the next year. I'm going to start doing cupcake sales about January. Actually, no, John Ivy was in here. We sold... It's a long story. Listen to the first episode, or part 1. But yeah, seriously, we'll rest up here for a couple weeks and then decompress, and then we'll have it at it again. George is going to record and host the very next live, I guess, AVWeek, first week of July. So for no other reason, I'm sure people are tired of hearing me. So thank you very much again to Middle Atlantic for sponsoring everything. MiddleAtlantic.com, what great systems are built on. Thank you guys very much. Don't follow me. Take an AV selfie and follow AVNation and go to the website, avnation.tv. avnation.tv, you will find this very program and a host of others. There's tons of videos from InfoComm you can check out on our page or our YouTube page or Facebook or any place, Google+. Dawn's Quickies that she did this week, very cool. Punked me out for using the wrong hashtag for InfoComm, which I admit I did. I put InfoComm 2014 for some ignorant reason. But yeah, those were very, very cool, very very quick and helpful. And
thanks to Chris Netto, last year after our final InfoComm recap meeting, he sort of came to me with the idea, and I said, let's do it this year. And I think it's fun to put out the little quickies, and we may do some of those in between AV socials as well.
Oh, very cool.
Not just an InfoComm thing.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
So that's the AV social. Matt Scott and Phil Cordell. Not only are they a tag team singing extraordinaire, but they also do the AV app show on a semi-weekly basis.
Yeah, give or take.
Give or take.
Give or take.
Almost as often as Gary Kay does his rants.
Wow. Yes.
The publicized ones, anyway.
The publicized ones, anyway. Yeah.
No comment.
No comment. All right. But yeah, the AV app show. It's on iTunes now. So.
It's on iTunes and YouTube. And thanks for the mic, Cole. It's a great show. We're covering all the apps you need, and this one needs some work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right, Georgie does the live show as well as the Pico projector show, which you need to look at the one that.
Oh, we did. Yeah, I came over and saw it. It's actually
very
cool. They're Smart Beam. They're a good company.
Yeah, and the new one, the Lighting Guy show.
Lighting Guy show.
Check those out if you would please. Tim Gray, who was not here, but he does the DIY show. Steve Greenblatt, who does the State of Control. For some reason, I'm still hosting EdTech. But we
gotta change that.
I'm gonna try to find somebody. I'm trying to get Greg Brown to take it over for me, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. And then obviously this show. So, Joe, yeah, check it out if you would please. AVNation.tv. AVNation.tv. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks so much for watching. This has been AV Week.